Taking a look at Jasmy from the previous video, we can see that Jasmy has now just made another low a couple of days ago, and we can see it's right inside of our circle at 85. So one would make the case that still, as long as Jasmy is inside of this downtrend, there is no reason to assume that Jasmy is bullish. Now, what we can do is clean up the chart a little bit, and all we have to do is take a fib from that recent high up here and take our fib down to the low. And you can see that Jasmy is already hitting a 382 retracement right now. So one would make the case that as long as Jasmy is actually below this downtrend and below the 382, which is 1040, then technically Jasmy is still bearish and another move down is still possible. Now, one could argue that if you pull your fib up to this low, you can see the 382 is right on top of the downtrend at 11. So we're going to say that technically, as long as Jasmy is below 1.1 cents, it is technically considered bearish, and there's no reason to assume that the low is in, and another move down may still actually occur. However, if Jasmy gets over this 11 area, you'd break the 382 and you would break the downtrend, and that would signal that the low is in for now, and a larger rally back up to 13 would be in play for Jasmy. However, if we zoom all the way out, we can see that from this high down to this low now, which is a new low, which is down here, we can see the 236 retracement is right on top of the 236 retracement is right on top of the 618 retracement from this high to the low. So that's why there's a red box here at about 13. All in all, there's a lot of work to do for Jasmy before we can say that the bottom is in. There's no reason to assume that the bottom is in because, again, all of the downward selling pressure is still in play. And as long as Jasmy is below 11, one would make the case that another move down is actually still on the table. Once we get over 11, we could argue a local low has formed and a larger rally up to 13 would be in play. And once we get over 13, we can start talking about if the bottom is in, and a larger rally up to 15 would be in play. But again, there's no reason to talk about that, in my opinion, until Jasmy gets over 1092. So as long as Jasmy is below 1092, technically the price is still bearish. And if it gets over 1092, then we can say that it's bullish up to 13, in my opinion.